What is up, everybody? I am here to share with you a build. It's a well-known build. It's 11 Barbarian, 8 Druid, 1 Favored Soul melee build. You play in wolf form and in bear form, pummeling your enemies. It's really fun. It's one of the highest melee damages out there. For boss damage, for trash mobs, it's really well too. It just works all together. Whether you're R10 questing or raid pushing, this is a fantastic build. Now, keep in mind, this is my twist on it. This is kind of, I used the gear I've had. I used my own knowledge and kind of pick people's brains about different things and really kind of made this my own. There's a bunch of different things you could do differently. This is just a starter guide to helping you out on your way to this build. Now, this is a half orc build. It's played best as a half orc. You don't have to play it as a half orc, but I really think half orc is the supreme race in this situation with this particular build. And with that being said, it does require a lot of racial points to hit everything you need in that tree, sadly. This build performs really well with a lot of Reaper points, a lot of pass slice or PRR and defenses hit points, because you're going to be up in the middle of things. Melees generally are better with more pass slice, right? That goes for any class, but especially if you're starting to learn a class like this, you're going to want some pass lives under your belt. Okay, now that that's out of the way, I'm going to show you my gear, my enhancements, my feats, all that good stuff. We're going to get into this, and hopefully it'll help you out if you want to try this build. I'm sure you've seen this build around. I'm sure you've seen me play it here and there. And again, this is just pieces I have, and it's not the best for damage, but I do cover some pretty good best in slot pieces and things like that. First things first, you'll notice some of my stats are pretty low. I do have my weapon off, but I'm missing some strength. I don't have any completionist. I don't have profane well-rounded, and I don't have artifact strength. I don't have this. I don't have that. So strength is very low. If you're looking to min-max, or if you have a lot of lives, you want your strength to at least be in the 70s. With a couple gear swaps and changing some things around, I can get my strength into 70 resting. That's what you want. Resting strength around 70s at least. Other classes can get this to 80 resting, I'm pretty sure, or close to it. But yeah. And if you're playing things like a barbarian or another class altogether, they're gonna get more strength. There's all these clickies, there's all these things you can do to boost your strength up even more, so don't be discouraged if your number's a little low. A couple extra damage from strength is really nice, but it's not going to break this build, okay? I would rather you have a little more defenses than a little less damage. So you want around 200 PRR and Reaper mode minimum. So that's why I have an Insightful Sheltering piece. It just happened to fit in this slot best for me. Wherever you can get this would be nice. Now, Red Dragon Armor, that is the best in slot body for anything that does damaging stuff. And you can pair this armor with a helmet, and it will give you 30 more PRR and 15 melee power and range power. So a really good starting point might be to your, really confident with melee and stuff, I mean, and even all throughout your time with this build, you might want to get a red dragon helm, a legendary one, just to get that 30 artifact PRR. It's pretty nice. Now what you're giving up for that though is you're giving up +1 W damageable in any wild shape. And Insightful Double Strike. You can get the Insightful Double Strike pretty easily on bracers and switch a couple pieces around, get the Insightful Sheltering back. So, but that +1 W, that's not like as big as you might think. It's nice, and I do it because I want to max out damage, but it's not necessary. So, Red Dragon Helm here, or Aspect of the Wild Hunt, your choice. I have a gem with Windlasher's Ferocity, so that's what I'm using. In a perfect world, I would have Windlashers paired with Raven's Eye or Sight or whatever it's called, but I didn't manage to get that, so this is what I have and this is what I'm working with. And that is paired with the Dustless Boots, so that gives you your double strike and your melee power. Alternatively, if you didn't want to do this gem of many facets route and you just want to hop in there on this build and just put on some things that don't have raid gear and just go for it, well, you could do like I said. Well, this does require some raid gear, but you could get the RDA armor here, you could get the helm, and that would be 15 melee power, 30 PRR. So 15 melee power, and then what? You could do a 6-piece, 6-piece summer, and get all of your stats covered basically. But if you do that, you might not be able to fit in armor piercing. And armor piercing is vital on a build like this. Now you do have cracking attack, which lowers enemies' fortification by 20%. So you could use this. Now some people say they don't even need armor piercing on a build like this. I found that I needed it. I don't know what the case was. I don't know if my hit confirmation wasn't high enough or something, but I wasn't critting some of the time, so I did end up getting a 3-piece summer just for the artifact fortify pass. You might not need this. This is what I have. So I had the Magmatic Grasps paired with the Lionheart Ring for extra action boost and Insightful armor piercing, and then Aspect of the Wild Hunt, and that gives me my 3-piece. And then I get 15% double strike and melee power artifact from the Dustless Boots and the gem, so that covers all of my artifact stats besides artifact strength. I do not have artifact strength, so whatever. Insightful Seeker double strike is on this. Armor piercing is not necessary on this spot because you have armor piercing here, but I use this cloak as a swap out for spell absorb, so I like to have the armor piercing covered on here and here for when I need to swap this cloak out. I don't know if I went over Ring of Acid, but this is just a little bit of extra damage. I had it, so whatever has 2 augment slots, just put it in there. I have Collective Sight for Wisdom and Insightful Wisdom, and I'll go over why that's important in a minute. And then for filigrees, well, for the weapon I have Tale of Sulamades, arguably the best weapon in this slot. You could get Baz, but I like the extra crit range from Tale of Sulo. And then I have, for filigrees, Sucker Punch 1 against many rare strength. I have another one of these on my minor artifacts, so that's 2-piece Sucker Punch, 2-piece 1 against many. It's very powerful to get 2 of these. You're going to want these if you can get them rare. That gives you 4 more melee power. Really nice. Then I have Shattered Device 3-piece. So I have melee power here. I have attack and damage here. And then I have the other melee power on my minor artifact. Dreadbringer 4-piece for that melee power. Fort bypass. And strength. PRR. I have another melee power rare on my gloves, so that's that. Next fall, 3-piece. That's good for the extra attacking damage, melee power. There are some other alternative options to this next fall, but I just use next fall. I think Long Shadow might be another decent one. I don't remember, but whatever. Treachery for the threat reduction is nice, and again, I have this rare. You want to get as much PRR as you can, and this 50% threat reduction, you want to be at 100% threat reduction on any build that does damage, unless if you're a tank or want to pull aggro. So Treachery brings it to 50% negative threat reduction. I have a Dark Diversion augment that brings it to 70% negative threat reduction. And then in Shadow Dancer Tree, I have 30 additional % less threat from all sources, bringing me to negative 100% threat from melee attacks. So I'm not going to be pulling things off of tanks or anything like that. If you don't have this Dark Diversion augment, you'll be at negative 80, which isn't the end of the world. You will be pulling every now and again, like in raids and stuff, long drawn out fights, but for the most part in questing, you'll be fine without this Dark Diversion. Some might argue the other way, that, you know, you're gonna want this no matter what, but I didn't use it for a while because I didn't have it, and I was fine, except for in raiding, because you dish out a lot of damage over time. So yeah, that's that. My stats are pretty low. I'm not buffed up. And hell, maybe if I take off my gear, put it back on, my stats might go back up. You never know. It's just is what it is. This is gonna be a little higher when I switch some things around. My melee power, or double strike's 95%. That's not that good. You want that to be 100, but 95 is good enough for now. Melee power 226. I can boost that with prowess, but whatever. It's not looking too bad. If you had around like 230, 250, like, you're looking good. I don't have a lot of Reapers and stuff, so, but yeah, not that impressive, just so you know, but this is a good spot. You want to aim for these stats at least. And now I'm gonna jump around a little bit. How this plays is really fun. Your Winter Wolf, when you want to do single target damage, like over time to bosses and stuff. Bear form has strike through, so you want to use that when there's a lot of trash mobs. And the thing is, I stay in bear form sometimes, and I'll use adrenaline and smack a trash mob and one-shot it, because bear hits harder too than wolf. So I mean, you want to be in wolf if there's like dooms or red names or stuff like that. And then after you kill them, if there's like one trash mob, you can just stay in wolf and kill that, right? But for the majority of the time, you kind of want to be in bear form and just smack the shit out of things. And don't forget to buff, don't forget to rage, don't forget to do all that. Now, there are some moves that are exclusive to wolf, moves that are exclusive to bear. Bear has shred, bear has maul, wolf has baiting bite, and has takedown. Takedown's really nice. The DC, it works like all the time for some reason for me. It only says save 30, but it's gotta be way higher than that, or it's just broken. Cracking attack gives you 2 extra W. if you go the right route in your tree. So you want to hit cracking attack first of all before you damage anything. Make sure this lands. Don't be using cracking attack as you're chasing an enemy, because it's not going to hit sometimes, and then you're going to lose out on 2W for your other attacks. Rage and Crush, coming from the Orc tree, this doesn't land all the time, and it's kind of annoying. Like, it doesn't crit all the time, I noticed. But if you hit it and then spam it a little bit after for like a second, like, it might hit. But it doesn't work every time. It's still good enough to try to use though. So that paired with the Adrenaline is really nice for taking out single target, or if there's a group, you know, you go in bear form, you use cracking attack, and then you Adrenaline, and you use one of your bear attacks, and things dead. This is nice too, Rising Fury. Every time an enemy hits you, you get 2 strength, 2 con. Stacks up to 5 times. So that's 10 extra strength, 10 extra con. That is good. I have a swap. Fear Gaze, you can use whatever you want, or you can slot in Intimidate. I take Intimidate as I'm leveling up to as a skill. So if you ever need to kite something or take aggro of something off of somebody, you could just switch to this and use Intimidate. So there's that option. Now, also in terms of offense, you have your buffs, like I said. You have Frenzy, which you use it lasts a minute, has a 30-second cooldown. And then you have Divine Will, which if you read it, you gain damage equal to like half of your Wisdom modifier. I don't think it's exactly half, I think it's less for some reason, like a quarter or something like that. But you use this, you get damage based off your Wisdom modifier, so you want to spike up your Wisdom. And I grab only 1 point of this in the tree, and this is why you have 1 favorite soul, by the way, for this Divine Will. I only grab 1 point in here. It makes it last 30 seconds, so basically I hit Frenzy first, then I hit this. So whenever Frenzy's off timer, I hit Frenzy again, and then I hit this again. And that way I know I always have Divine Will up. So when Frenzy's off cooldown, use Frenzy again, and then use Divine Will. Frenzy, Divine Will. That way Divine Will is always going. Like if I hit Divine Will again, it sometimes doesn't bring it back up to 30 seconds. So that's why I wait till the Frenzy timer goes all the way out, because then I know Divine Will is all the way out and ready to be used again. Primal Scream, 30 seconds cooldown for a 5-minute buff, so you're gonna want to always spam that. So I usually just go boom, boom, and then hit a Primal Scream. You're gonna want a Prowess swap, and what Prowess does is whenever you activate an action boost, gain 50 melee power for 10 seconds. So I use Prowess. I have it key bound too, so I use Prowess. I use Haste Boost. Some would argue Orcish Rage is the best, but whatever you feel like using, Haste, Orcish Rage. So use a boost. That gives me the Prowess buff, 50 melee power, and then I swap to my main weapon. So I have 50 melee power for a little bit, and an action boost. It's insane. You're going to want a Prowess swap. Another good swap, I forget what it's called, but I think it's a 6-piece. You can find it on Wiki. When you rage, you get 10 hit points, and you get a lot of them. So that's offense. You have Unbridled Fury. So basically you use this and you get a bunch of adrenalines for free as you're attacking. Has a long cooldown, so use it sparingly. Use it for bosses, or if you're in trouble or something, just need to kill. Something that's really nice in terms of defenses now, Ghost Wolf Pack. You use this. Creatures have a 50% chance to miss you because you're in Corporal. So that's an insanely huge buff. And then on top of that, the Ghost Wolf actually confuses enemies, and it makes it super nice. So I usually use this. I swap into Bear when there's a lot of enemies, and then I just go over and smack them when they're confused, and when I have a buff in defense. Flight, you can gain 8 of these, and it gives you 20 uncapped dodge. So with a minute and a half cooldown, that's amazing. And then you have uncanny dodge if you need to. You have your Hood of the Unrest if you need to use it. You can't use this while raged though. So, but you have all these buffs for dodge. They'll bring you to dodge cap. And then you have your buffs too. You have Magic Fang, which gives you more damage and I think accuracy. You have Ram's Might, which gives you 2 strength and damage. Thumb, you're gonna want to use when you can. You don't really need jump, I don't think, but jump. Night Shield's nice, you get that for being a favorite soul. And then you have Potions of Prowess. You have some other things that you can use. These come from commendations. I'm not gonna go over all the little buffs like that, but there are quite a few of them. And that covers how to play it for the most part. There's a lot that goes into melee though. There's a lot of little odds and ends. You need to know what enemies cleave. You need to know when to back out of a room or back out of a situation. That is the #1 hardest thing to learn. Is you need to know when to go in and when to get out. You don't want to take on a whole room by yourself. You're gonna die. You know, if you can, like, let's say there's a whole bunch of enemies here, and you can go behind this corner. As they come up, you can kill one. You know, if more come, use Ghost Wolf Pack, go behind a corner, stuff like that. Use your surroundings to your advantage. If there's a melee and you're getting the butt kicked out of you, you know, go on a high ledge and kind of get out of dodge. I like to use flight pretty often, so for that uncapped dodge too. Yeah, be a team player as well. Get casters killed first, put on spell absorb, kill casters, kill fears. If there's a fear, ignore everything else and kill that damn fear as fast as possible. So kill fears, despairs, casters, in that order. Have spell absorb on if needed. And yeah. Now, for enhancements, half orc tree, you go all the way up here, you get attack and damage with 2-handed weapons. You get Orcish Rage, which is an action boost. This is pretty huge. Improved power attack. If you had more racials, you could get improved power attack out of Ravager if needed. But there's brutality, 20% damage to helpless opponents. This is really nice. I run with a lot of people that cause helpless damage. And just if you're in pugs and stuff, you know, you every once in a while get somebody that'll like hold a thing or two. 20% is huge. That's really big. And Rage and Crush is really nice too. If you can't get this top tier stuff, whatever, you're gonna lose a lot of damage, but it's not going to break the build. You get some extra helpless damage here too, so stacking this helpless damage is pretty nice, but not necessary. Moving over to Frenzied Berserker, you're gonna want these 3 cores. You want this buff. This gives you some extra damage. I like to pick up the extra rages. You really don't need this many rages. Cracking attack, you have to get that. 3 strength while raging, I get this. 2 action boost, sprint boost. You can get rid of the sprint boost, or action boost if you're questing a lot. In raids, you might want the extra action boost. You want to always use action boost, but you can get rid of some of this stuff and get Die Harder, which gives you extra HP, and then you gain temp HP when you go below 1 health. So technically, what is this, like 45 extra HP that's not something to just glance over. It's not a multi-selector here, it's just cons, so grab the 2 cons while working up the tree to get top tier. You want this for cracking attack, crazy strikes. When you hit somebody, you get crazy strikes for 12 seconds, and it's plus 2 W and 3 melee power, and this has a 12-second cooldown, so you can upkeep this 100% of the time. Now you want 2 competence bonus to crit multi, and if you look, just sitting here, I'm at 15 to 20 times 4, so that's pretty good. Getting that extra crit multiplier is nice. 1 you're raging plus 1 W damage and 5 melee power, so that's nice too. Getting these cores gives you extra hit and damage and fort bypass, so you want the extra hit and damage and sneak attack. I get the wild empathy, it gives you more charges of flights, which I talked about. That's a dodge, uncap, ghost touch in wolf form and on your melee attack, so you get ghost touch and ghost wolf pack. This is the thing that confuses them and does some pretty massive damage. Helpless damage, you want that. A strength working up to get to tier 4. More melee damage. And this is a huge thing. Killing an enemy gets you 5% extra attack speed. So that stacks 5 times. That's a lot of extra attack speed. And you're already attacking really fast as a wolf too, but with that in bear form or wolf form, whatever it is, that's a lot of extra attack speed. And this is just some extra damage. Vistani Knife Fighter, I get haste boost and then 5% double strike. You want this 5% double strike. You want to be as close to 100 as possible, and like I said, you want Divine Will. So pretty basic enhancement layout. You can't stray too far off from it. I've seen some people do some interesting things with this, but this is what I use. Reaper points, Grim Barricade, Dreadaver, Sari. Not going to get into the Reaper points too much. Fury of the Wild. This is where you want to be, and this is your main tree. You get Adrenaline. You get the extra damage to Adrenaline. Get the extra damage to Adrenaline. Cold Iron bypass. Get extra double strike. Get extra double strike. Primal Scream is a good buff. Primal Scream here, it does more of a buff. I get this. I have Harbinger of Chaos feat, so I get more PRR off of this and 50 hit points. You don't need this, especially if you have a lot of lives, but you might want to grab it either way. Surviving is pretty good. This is a nice feat, or nice enhancement to get as well. Extra hit points, Unbridled. You want that without a doubt, and you want Nature's Fury. This is a Fury build. Now, as your secondary tree, I get double strike, double shot. From Shadow Dancer, you get some sneak attack dice, and you need this less threat. I mean, technically, if you drink this coffee that reduces all your threat, you don't need this. But I go Shadow Dancer. It's easier. Oh, and max dex bonus with light armor. I use light armor. You could use medium. Use whatever you want. Grandmaster. So the third tree is either Grandmaster or Legendary Dreadnought. They're both comparable. Alright. You'll get more double strike out of Dreadnought, and you won't get helpless damage out of Dreadnought, but if you don't go, you get helpless damage here. If you don't do Grandmaster, you could take this mantle and you could get the helpless damage back, and then take this, get more helpless damage, but whatever. So this is what I use for Grandmaster. Plus 1 extra W when you're in your Grandmaster mantle. This gives you action boost to movement speed too, which is nice, 15%. I don't know why I got this. Maybe I thought this was maximum hit points. Huh. Maybe I should have gotten this. Tier 3 is nice too. Do not overlook heal amp. Oh my goodness, please slot a healing amplification item. Help your healers out. It's huge. I don't think you realize how much heal amp matters, but even having the past life, I would have, you know, if you're a melee, I would have paladin past lives for the heal amp. I would have this ancient blessings 3 times for heal amp. I would have a heal amp augment. I would stack up heal amp where you can get it without sacrificing too much damage. It's huge. 5 heal amp, people don't realize how much that actually is. It's a lot. The better the healer too, with the more it can, the harder it can heal, the more that 5 extra heal amp matters. So yeah, that covers destinies, that covers enhancements. What was I gonna say? Oh, these blood bark bracers too. This is pretty good. When you rage, you get 3 more strength. I think you can swap this on. Let me see. Okay, let me see what my rage is here. 82. Okay, dismiss it. So 85 stays at 85. So this can be a swap to get a couple extra strength. It's pretty nice. Also gives you quality double strike. If you could fit this in, this is good too. Maybe I should use this. This will bring my double strike to 98%, but I like having that 15 extra PRR. That's just me. Feats. You want this extra sneak attack dice. You also get lesser displacement, so it's nice. Double strike, harboring of chaos, perfect natural fighting, epic damage reduction. I get epic toughness. You don't need to get this. I think it's because I got toughness as a heroic feat since I don't have completionist, but I would normally grab completionist over toughness. I got overwhelming critical. Let's see, natural fighting, get this 3 times. You can only get it 3 times. It only stacks up to 3 times. This gives you melee power, double strike, and strike through while in bear form. This is, you definitely get this. It doesn't matter what you follow. You get this at level 1 favorite, so you can pick anything. Improved critical slashing, power attack, power critical, weapon focus slashing. And then that's all. Those are the feats you want. You don't want to stray from those feats, trust me. These are my spells if you want to take a look at them. I use Ice Storm when I'm kiting around in KT. It's pretty nice to grab aggro with Ice Storm. Gust of Wind's good too. Every now and again, you might use that. I don't know what this is. I don't have this. Oh, Roar. That's alright. So that's the build. Again, you can change this however you want. Make it your own. Oh, and another thing to note that you might not know. Where is it? Special feat? No, not past life feats. Epic. Ancient power. It gives you 2 attack and damage when you are two-handed fighting style. Oh, so you get 2 attack per stack of this past life. So you get 6 attack. And now it says if you are fighting in two-handed fighting style, you get 2 damage. So that would be 6 damage, you would think, right? But if I was to put this on, it won't give me 6 damage. It'll just give me 6 attack. That's because when you're in animal form, you're not considered to be two-handed fighting style. You are considered to be natural fighting. You're not considered to be two-handed fighting. So you only get the attack. for this feat, which kind of sucks. So an alternative past life to that would be Colors of the Queen. This isn't necessary though. You want your double strike past lives, and you want your Asmar Scourge past lives. Each of these give double strike. If you don't have these, it's gonna suck. You're gonna really feel the difference, because this is 6, this is 9, so 15% double strike. That's huge. Enchant weapons, this is really good. And ancient blessings. You don't need enchant weapons, you don't need ancient blessings, but you need Asmar Scourge and you need double strike before you play this build for it to feel nice, right? For it to feel really powerful, because missing 15% to double strike, you're gonna feel that. And that's that. If you have any questions, just hit me up in DDO if you want. I might not reply to you if I'm playing the game, because sometimes I get some messages, I get sidetracked, I'm in the middle of raiding, and then I just forget to reply. So just try to reply on YouTube, please. Yeah, with that being said, thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something and have fun with this build. Yay! Also, a great alternative to something like this, once you get this down, and if you like this build, would be Barbarian. I think Barbarian would be a lot of fun. I haven't tried that yet, and that's going to be my next one to try. And then I'm going to do a Fighter Vanguard, just for the hell of it. It's probably not going to be the best damage, but I'm going to try it. Goodbye.